So it's called Twitter Trails. And are you familiar with Twitter?
Yes.
So this is a slide that does not give too much information for you. So a tweet is like a message. It's better if we make sure we all know the same thing. And instead of messaging somebody, you tweet this person, and you have the option of retweeting, that is repeating exactly the same message that you received from somebody else. Or you could reply, so respond to a tweet that you received. All of this is public, and there is a way of communicating in a direct way, which is not public, and direct way is something we do not care about, because you cannot even see it. But we will be thinking about the world of Twitter as a way of sending messages and having your followers, those who follow what you say, following your messages. So it's a one-director thing. In your reading, you had this experience with somebody tweeting something, going viral, and it seems like, later on he said, oh, I made a mistake. I even tried to correct it, and it seems like people did not even pay much attention to that. So part of what we're thinking is, could we find a technological solution to this kind of problem of information, in particular misinformation, going viral? And could we write a piece of code that actually could help people figure out whether something is going viral or not? And that's what Twitter Trail is all about. Twitter Trail starts by saying, investigate this story. Sample stories. Somebody says that saw an airplane in the sea, and you would like to know, is it really that there is an airplane on the sea? Somebody says that it's in the London tubes, and they hear about terrorist attacks. You're about to get into the subway, and you're thinking, like, is that okay? Or that a 9-year-old girl killed the gun instructor. Is that so? You would like to know the answer of that. Or that we found a lost book of Jesus or something. Or that there is no missing nuclear weapon from a site. Twitter Trails investigates stories. And by stories we mean tweets that we have collected in the last 10 days, so recent tweets, that are searched through keywords. So you could be searching for, let's say, airplane, sea, and Canary Islands in English, in Spanish, whatever. And what you hope is that if this is something that's happening right now, you will collect a story. You will collect all the data. Sounds good? Okay, so one of the stories that I'll show you that we collected has to do with this claim that Mary Tyler Moore apparently died. Do you happen to know Mary Tyler Moore? Probably not because of your age. In my age was a famous actress. So I would like to know, when I heard that, whether this was true. What Twitter Trails will do for you will be to tell you who was the originator, who first posted about the story. That can tell you something about how the story started. Also will tell you who made this story known, when it kind of got a burst. So it's one thing that somebody said something and nobody paid attention to it. It's another thing if somebody said something and suddenly a lot of people knew about it. And they knew because they started retweeting this information or started writing more of those pieces of the story. Sounds good? Twitter Trails will tell you of the timeline of propagation, like when it started, is it peaking, is it going down, is it going up and down, the volume of tweets. Is it monotonous, is it falling, is it rising, these kind of things. So it will give you a lot of evidence about what's happening, and hopefully you as a thinking person, you will be able to make some deduction whether you understand how this story spreads, if it is a rumor that's true or false, or is it something you should worry about. We'll tell you about the propagators, who are like the ones who are spreading the news more than others, and whether there is any kind of negation in the story by looking at the keywords they're using. So are there any people that they tweet things like, oh no, she did not die, no, I saw Mary Tyler Moore, or how do you know, these kind of things. You also tell you who are the main actors, that is, are there some people in this community, we will call all of these set of tweets that we have collected, and the users who are posting, we will call them a community, who are like the main actors in the community. Sounds good? So let me show you what you would do in Twitter Trails to understand the answer to these questions. You would start by having Twitter Trails giving you a little briefing about what is the rumor that is looking. So the rumor started because we started investigating the tweet by this user that Mary Tyler Moore was dead. And then it will start showing you a bunch of visualizations. First, we'll show you how much the propagation was very active and when it burst. So each one of these bubbles will show you really how many followers the person who said that had. So the more followers this person had, the larger the bubble. Theoretically, if you have a lot of followers and you say something, more people will see it. The height here will tell you how many retweeted what you said. So you might have a lot of followers, but you did not necessarily got a lot of attention. So the height will tell you how many retweeted. This is around 750. And the horizontal is the timeline. When there is a relevant particular story, like from this little dot, you would see whenever you put the cursor on top of that, will tell you what exactly this tweet said. So this is a tweet by such and such a person that said something about Taylor Moore passing away, and it was in that particular spot. So you can figure out what is the right time, and it was 3:09 p.m. on December 10, 2006. No, that was not. It is 25th of January 2017. Sounds good? And if you see the same color in the kind of gray, it means that people are just repeating the same message without alteration. It's like copying and pasting type of thing. Sometimes this indicates a spammer. We'll tell you also the timeline of the rumor. So it seems like the reference to Mary Tyler Moore started at 13 o'clock, and then it was kind of quiet until this point in which it started picking up a lot of attention. In this case, they were 1,897 tweets all talking about Tyler Moore. So you start feeling something happened apparently at that time. And it could indicate, so I'm looking at one of these 1897 tweets, and this is what I find. So here's somebody claiming that Moore died. So that might be indicating when exactly the event happened. We also have this kind of communities of people who are tweeting. This cloud kind of shows how many people were clustering around the same bit of information. I will turn off the light so that you can see a little better what's happening here. So here we see every little dot is a different user, and they're clustered together because they're all talking with each other about the topic. You could find more information about these main actors if you're looking at the characterization of these groups. It turns out that there are some cyan-colored members there, and there are also some red. Not too many. There are about 2,093 in the cyan group, and there is a smaller group, 103, and there is a smaller group, 37 in the purple. So there is, in this case, there is not much polarization. It's not like some people say she died, some people say she did not die. It seems like everybody, or the vast majority of people, are saying the same thing. And in this word cloud, you will tell a little bit about who are the main leaders in this cloud. It seems like the keywords that appear in the profile more often seems to be news, breaking, and stuff like that. So you get a sense that the vast majority of people who are participating in this were probably people related to news, journalists and such. So you can start getting a sense whether this is a true rumor or not. You also can find the relevant pictures to see, was it really about that, or it is maybe about something else. Seems like everybody was talking about this. Sounds good? So that's what Twitter Trails is. And let me, in the last 2 minutes, show a little bit about how it works. So here is the rumor that I was showing you. This is the web page in Twitter Trails. This is where I was saying that as you move the cursor, you can see the relevant tweet, and you can, look at what the tweet is saying and get more information about the propagation of information about the topic you were seeing. Looks good? The next one is how the story originated. Seems like somebody started from here talking about Tyler Moore, and it seems like it was not that she was dead yet. What he was saying here was that she was in grave condition. So you could keep going around and try to figure out when was the first time that actually somebody reported that she was not just, it seems like she was in grave condition for a couple of hours before here, people said, oh my God, she died. This is the main actors page. You could even kind of, see who are the main ones that are related to that. You could see particular tweets here of particular players. So New York Times was highly retweeted. And then you have the groups. So these are the groups related to that. Not surprising, a lot about news, breaking news, entertainment, authors, stuff like that. And finally, we can also tell whether they were written in English or anything like that. And here is the images. Sounds good?